Great. I was trying to have the pee on my nose and the soap in my mouth. Happy day 19 of our Get Up and Go challenge. Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here, obviously trying to have some fun today. Was looking for a Christmas filter since we're getting on the holidays. It's the end of the year and I was feeling kind of Christmassy and happy and jovial. And lo and behold, not a single Christmas filter in Facebook Live is offered up or served. Now I got to find out if there's a way to search for them because that would be awesome, but apparently there is not. So today we're talking about the P in our SOAP framework, and with respect to, I'm giving an example of my physical well-being. So our tool today is going to be measurement. We're going to talk about measurement, but of course the P in physical stands for progress. Are we making progress? How do we know? Well, I define progress personally as, am I moving toward the thing I want, or am I moving away from the thing that I want? You can define progress however works for you, and that's why we're going to talk about measurement today. The things that we measure matter. The things that we pay attention to and we want to have our focus and our attention on are the things that we find a way to measure. Now, we can measure things in all different ways. You know, when I was younger, I used to weigh myself every day. That was how I measured my physical health. It doesn't necessarily mean I was healthy because I went on some of those crazy diets when I was younger. So it might just have, meant I could step up the 3 inches on the scale because I still had enough energy to do that. So we can measure ourselves by weighing ourselves. We can measure our body fat. We can measure our BMI. We can measure whatever is meaningful to us. And it will do that based on what's important to us. Now, one of the things in a previous challenge that I did was I measured how much water, and I actually documented how much water I was consuming every day because I wanted to make sure I was getting my 8 glasses of water a day. Well, how do you do that? My dad had also had a heart challenge. He had open heart surgery, and apparently when he went in to have his open heart surgery, he had had multiple strokes and heart attacks before, but he had just worked his way right through them. Amazing man. But he taught me this trick with Post-it notes, no less, because he was, of course, a 3M guy his whole life. So I started using it. It worked really well for me. We picked a glass of water that we liked and that we would use, that would give us, if we drank 8 of it, would give us the amount of water that we needed every day for ourselves. And then by it, I will usually put this little Post-it notepad. And then whenever I drink water, I put a little hatch mark that I drank my glass of water. What I do is I do it first thing in the morning. And then I do another one with my vitamins. And then I do one when I brush my teeth first thing in the morning too. So I make sure I get at least 2 big glasses of water into me as soon as I start my day. We get dehydrated when we sleep. So that over time has proven to be really effective for me. Why do I write it down after it's been going on 10 years that I've done this? Why? Because I noticed that when I don't do it, because I've stopped doing it sometimes, I get lazy. During COVID especially, I've decided that, some of my habits just aren't that important. And I realized, and my daughter reminded me, you are drinking a ton of the coffee stuff and not so much water. And she's absolutely right. So what do I want to do? When I'm not paying attention to something that's important for my progress to move toward what I want to start doing the things that I know have worked for me in the past. So I started doing my hatch mark, my little Post-it note. And so for my physical well-being and nutrition every day, I actually, for the longest time, I literally kept a log of everything I ate and drank. I learned that one from my dad's dad. My grandfather had diabetes, and he did such a good job monitoring what he drank and ate. For years, I watched him do this. He always carried around a little notebook and wrote everything down. He never had to go on medication for his diabetes because he managed his nutrition and his energy and his physical activity so well that he never had to do that. So I'm hoping I never have to be diabetic. My brother-in-law did the same thing. I don't know that he wrote down every day what he ate, but he did such a good job managing turns out he had diabetes from previous cancer treatments. And now he doesn't have to, take any drugs for his diabetes either. So that's really cool to see that we can do that, that we can actually measure things that matter to us to the point where we don't have to take certain medications or drugs. I found the same thing with my sudden cardiac arrest, that if I kept track of everything I was eating and drinking really carefully, that I got to eliminate, a couple of drugs that they told me I'd have to take all my life. So I'm just down to one thing, one beta blocker a day that I have to take. Now, I also take supplements. On here I note my supplements. And then I even have a new one, which is my new way of measuring today, exercise. And The action I picked yesterday was I need to exercise an hour every day, and I need to mix it up. It can't be just walking for an hour every day, although that's my default. If I don't have time or energy or to do anything else, I just will go for a walk for an hour a day. And then all I'm doing is marking, did I do it or not? I either did it or not. If I haven't done it by 11 p.m., guess what? I'm getting on my exercise bike for an hour from 11 to 12 because I'm not going to not do it. Because I know that will move me toward my goal and my objective of what I want and how I want to feel physically. So today, our challenge is to think about measurement. How can you measure an outcome that you want? You know, another way to measure would be, I'm gonna reach over here. Can I fit into these jeans? Can I fit into these jeans that I got a couple years ago? And I gave to my mom to hem for me, and that's kind of sparkly and fun, isn't it? They never got hemmed. So she gave them back to me, and she was home for the summer, a very short summer this year with COVID, to her Wisconsin house. And she said, oh, I found these in my closet. I haven't hemmed them. I'm like, great. You know what? I'm probably going to cut them off and get some of that old Stitch Witchery, if they still make it, and just iron them up. But I'll have to borrow an iron from someone. All right. So measurement today. How can you physically measure what you're doing? I like to keep it simple. I've done really complicated ways of measuring things. I've done really complicated, literally pages and journals of my diet and my nutrition over the years. And it works, but it takes a lot of time and energy. And as I get older, I want to keep things simple. So today our action item is to pick one thing and just share in the comments below, will you know? How are you going to know whether you're making progress toward what you want or away from what you want? Get creative with it, but pick something that you're committed to doing and keeping track of that will work for you, but will also, it's like key performance indicators in business. We always are looking at a few key numbers. We can't look at everything and all the data in running our business. So we want to pick the one or two things that really mean a lot to us and will motivate us to move forward. Since I got my box, the scales nowadays all have electronics on, so they recommend that people with cardiac devices don't use them. But I always hated weighing myself, right? I hated weighing myself because we fluctuate so much with water and what we ate and slept and what we did the day before and what time of day that I found it. And I used to graph my weight. I found it super frustrating and demotivating. We want to find a measurement that you're excited to do, excited to look at, and that motivates you because you know you're making progress in the direction you want to go. So that is our little assignment, our little action item at our Get Up and Go challenge today. Get up, figure out how you're going to measure what it is that you're going to do moving forward for whatever area or aspect of your life you're working on throughout the challenge. And I will be with you tomorrow for another run through the SOAP framework. I think we're going to go ahead and move right on to relationships since it's the end of the year and it's the holiday week. We're going to be hopefully seeing some family and friends, depending on what the restrictions and the guidelines are in your area. We have to always be safe and conscious, but guess what? We need to have our family and our relationships as well. See you tomorrow. Have an amazing day. Any questions, hit me up in the comments below. Otherwise, I'll be with you tomorrow, and we will hop right into the SOAP framework for relationships. Remember our key areas of life: physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, financial, relationships, and contribution. We've done financial last week, physical, we just started finishing up today, and we're going to hop right into relationships tomorrow. So I want to make sure we have an opportunity to go through each and every one of these areas and aspects of our life. Take care. Have an awesome day. Bye.